What's going on, Postcard Marketing Pros? I don't like anything about this postcard, so let's dive in. Just sold February 2020. At least it's simple, clear. People know just sold cards. Makes sense. On the bottom right-hand corner, we have the address. It's an address clearly I'm familiar with. I happen to be in the area here, but they used a Google Maps photo. Like, come on. Like, if you've just sold this thing, take a nice picture of the building. Drones are pretty cheap these days. Pied de terre, does anyone know what that means? Your language should be super, super simple. You shouldn't try to confuse people with, I guess it's probably French. And penthouse, no, just use language that's normal here. Studio, spa, bath, condo. Great, makes sense. I like how it did include the price here, which is nice. I think that's kind of a little bit key, and you should probably make that bigger because a unit selling for $608,000 in San Francisco in 2020 is kind of a miracle. And PSF, I know that means per square foot, but don't assume that people know your jargon. And is this really the best image that you could have got? This huge, gigantic wall with a microwave and strange countertops. I think I would have focused much more on the imagery here and the price, the $608,000. We actually have some postcard designs for realtors that are that you can use, some postcard examples. So make sure to ping me and I can send you some stuff. Let's take a look at the back. Okay, we got a summary again. A local postal customer, so you can see, just so you guys can get an understanding about what this stuff means here. This is a pre-sort standard class, so it's a little bit slower. And EDDM stands for Every Door Direct Mail. So what this person did is they selected an area near this and they just blasted everyone. And it ends up being pretty cheaper to do that versus to actually buy an address or use an address and send to a specific address. And you can see that local postal customer. This is just a card I scanned, and notice how there's no address in here. I didn't have to block out an address, and that's EDDM. Fun fact, in New York, EDDM is a really bad way to do things. You should do saturation mail, because for whatever reason, those cards just don't get delivered as much. They're dropped off in lobbies, etc. So New York City specifically. Centrally located downtown, pied de terre, penthouse, no one knows what that means. Condo, easily access to FIDI, okay, good. Recently ran, and why talk about where easy access? I live here. You send it to someone that's here, so why would you need to tell me about the area? I know it. Recently renovated. This coveted. I just think none of this is compelling. I like this pre-MLS, right? So if Kevin wants to talk about that, I think it's a good idea. It's and again, jargon, shouldn't have done that. He should have said, it didn't reach listing services or something. Not everyone knows what an MLS is. Off-market, that's key. So I would focus on the fact that he has access to off-market buildings that most people don't. A record-breaking value in the building. This is very confusing because is he trying to get me as a buyer? If I'm a buyer, does that mean that this is a good time to sell and not to buy? I think I would be clearer here if it's record-breaking in terms of expensive or not, because I think 600, 700K for a place in San Francisco seems cheap, but it may be in this building. Usually this goes for much cheaper. So I don't really know why, what emotion that's supposed to evoke. Okay, here it is. If you're considering selling your home. So notice this is the call to action here is the smallest thing on this postcard. This is bigger. All these images are bigger here on the front of the card. But I think that Kevin could do a better job of making that really big and touting why he is the person to sell your home because he got this clear, amazing, record-breaking square footage price. So I think I definitely would change the message here. And if you're targeting folks, I mean, I'm in an apartment and I got this. So he paid a lot of money to have this sent around, and the areas that he was sending it to, they're kind of a mix of homeowners and apartments. So I probably would have looked at the math here and said, oh, actually, you know what? Half of these folks are renters, so I'm not going to send them a postcard because they're can't sell a building they don't own. That's another breakdown. Thanks so much for taking the time to educate yourself on postcard designs. See you tomorrow.